from here.
I know. There it goes.
Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Hannah, and I am an anti-diet wellness chef and intuitive healer. And so I'm really excited for tonight because basically my goal is to make health just so much fun for everyone, and that's what we're going to do tonight. And simultaneously we're going to make some like bomb ass food that's nourishing to our bodies and also to our taste buds. What are you looking for, Barb?
Let me get a glass.
Oh, cool. They're right here.
Yeah.
And okay, so who's cooking tonight and who's watching tonight? Nikki, I know you're cooking, watching. Lisa, what are you doing? You're cooking. Okay, what's up? Okay, awesome. So we'll start with, so tonight we're making harvest bowls because it's fall. So like, why not? And Davia, the one thing she requested was Brussels sprouts. So like, I'm going to give Davia what she wants. So we're making Brussels sprouts and squash because I like delicata squash. So we will start with getting our veggies in the oven. That's going to take the longest. And so basically the delicata squash, Mickey, hold yours up again. This is what delicata squash looks like. And they're lovely. They roast more quickly than butternut squash. And what, Christy, what did you say? I have squash ingredients.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no worries. Just hang out. No rush.
Okay.
So this is what, so I cut my squash in half lengthwise, like this. And then it opens up and there's these seeds here. So you just take a spoon and scoop out the seeds. Really simple. And I already did half of mine. Sorry, my head's cut off. So I'm like kind of hunched over this laptop situation. Oh, I should take my shoes off. I'm wearing heels. Why am I doing that? You can't even see my feet. Okay. And so, oh, that's so much better. Self-described. But yeah, just scoop out the seeds of the squash. And I like the delicata squash a lot better than butternut in this case. And the main reason is because it roasts more quickly. And you know, it's been a long day of summit. We want to eat. So that's kind of the name of the game tonight. Okay. So scoop out the seeds and it just kind of looks like this. And then from there, you cut it into little like 1/4-inch half moons. So let me move my something.
And Hannah, for those of us who maybe don't cook as much, can you get that type of squash in any kind of a grocery store?
Well, Lori, I wouldn't say like Walmart, you know, but
yeah,
like
I wouldn't even buy it at Walmart, but just check it.
Okay. But yeah, any normal grocery store, but mostly only in season, like only in the fall is when I usually see delicata squash. And when I don't see it, you know what I like to buy, Lori, is pre-cut butternut squash. Oh, this is gonna be hard. There's a bit of a knife situation at the Airbnb. Okay, I'll try some out.
Oh,
This one's good. This one's good. Thank you. Okay, so you basically just want to cut them into half moon shapes like this. And then line them on a sheet tray with parchment paper. Did you want to pretend that you were cooking, Davia?
yes.
Yeah, I thought so.
One can pretend.
There's a lot going on. I feel distracted. Lori, how was the summit from the virtual end today?
It was good. Yeah, we had some great interaction. People were definitely excited about the presenters and lots of takeaways for sure. It looked like you guys were having an amazing time in the room.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. Okay.
You know what my favorite part about the room was? It wasn't freezing cold. Well, that
It
too,
wasn't too
but it
cold.
wasn't freezing cold. I mean, how many times you go to a conference and you're
Yeah.
freezing?
Yeah.
It was so nice. Oh, hi, Kitty.
Look at Christy's got her cat joining in.
It's a Halloween cat.
He actually sits on my my center table, and she usually supervises whatever I'm doing.
Being upstage,
Cute.
you're being upstage. All the pets.
I don't know where to look. I'm just like,
Paying no attention to the man behind the curtain.
this is probably what a mother feels like while cooking, with like all of her children like giggling in the corner over there. Like, and I'm like, kids, I'm trying to concentrate. Like, give me a minute.
Oh my God.
Rover loves Brussels sprouts.
Really?
Yes. They're one of his favorite treats.
Okay. Woo! Caught that.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So once you get them on your sheet tray, that's the hardest part. And then you just season them however the crap you want to season them. And I love, when I do squash, I like to do garlic powder and rosemary, olive oil, salt, and pepper. And Davia likes rosemary, she just said, which is great. But like, you could really do anything you want. You could do curry powder if you wanted like some warm spices. You could do Italian seasoning.
I like all the things.
All the things. And so I'm just drizzling about a tablespoon of olive oil on. And then some salt and pepper. Those ingredients are not optional. Those ones are like my three mandatory ones. But then from there you can get creative. And like I said, I'm just doing a little bit of garlic powder and rosemary. And it kind of rosemary always makes me think of like fall vibe cooking. Okay. So just sprinkling some of that. And then you can just give your sheet tray a shake and pop it into your oven that's been preheated, hopefully. Lisa, are you already done with that?
Okay, so I didn't think I was going to be able to attend. So I have a kind of a mishmash of the ingredients.
Okay.
So I have spiral cut butternut squash in the steamable package,
Oh, cool.
which I put on my tray. So that was much easier than cutting the
Yeah.
delicate squash.
Yeah, totally. No, that's great. Okay, perfect. And looks like Christy decided to get her elbows dirty in here. Yes. Oh, you have acorn squash. Okay, fancy.
Acorn and butternut, and I am using my toaster oven because I just do things small. Okay, cool. Hopefully that'll work the same.
Oh yeah. I shouldn't say that so confidently. I've never cooked squash in a toaster oven, but
Oh, I've been cooking my squash and Brussels sprouts in my toaster oven, and it works pretty well.
yeah, that is interesting. We have a question from the audience. Wendy Lee wants to know how long you cook it for.
Me?
Yes,
Oh, I don't know, until it's soft,
until it's soft.
until I can eat
Hannah,
it.
Hannah's favorite answer is till it's done.
Yeah. Nikki's my seasoned vet. This is not her first
Like, I'm
rodeo.
setting a timer. And she's like, yeah, no.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And by the way, I put my squash in the oven. I did not set a timer, but I put it at 610. And in about 20 minutes, it's when my nose will start to smell it and when I probably want to flip it. And so basically for the Brussels sprouts, I usually cook along with people like in real time, but since tonight is a little bit shorter and we called it a cooking demo instead of a class, I decided to get ahead of the game and pre-cut my Brussels sprouts just to, yeah, so did Mickey. I told Mickey to pre-cut them too. Her
Well, I
sous-
didn't cut them.
Right. And
My sous chef.
easy, we're just gonna season them the exact same way as we did our squash. So olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, and rosemary. That's it. And like that's a super easy baseline combination for any roasted vegetable. Okay. And then you can just put them right into the oven with your butternut squash. Same temperature. Just give it a little shake.
I also use spray oil, so it's really easy.
Bringing out all the shortcuts, Christy.
Is that okay?
I don't feel equipped to answer that question. I've never cooked in the toaster oven.
It is organic avocado from Aldi's.
Cooking spray is totally okay if that's
I love that.
yeah,
I love that stuff.
yeah. I like to kind of glug on the oil though, so that it gets a nice crispy texture. So depending on what you want. Lisa,
I have found that if I put the baking sheet in the oven for like 10 minutes or so before it's time to
Babe, can you
throw either the potatoes or the squash or the Brussels sprouts or whatever on, and then I pull it out and throw them on and then put it back in, it gets nice and crispy because the oil is going straight onto a hot pan. It's like, shh, gives it that
yeah, that's a nice like Food Network trick, Shannon.
feel. I like cooking shows.
Me too. What's your favorite one?
Oh, that's a good question. Right now I'm obsessed with Best in Dough,
Okay.
but I love Great British Baking Show.
Okay.
Favorites. And I used to just watch Chopped religiously.
Yeah.
Like you.
I like The Kitchen. It's kind of like a cooking talk show.
Oh, I'll have to
They
check
talk
it
about
out.
that trick about preheating your tray before you put your vegetables on it. But I'm kind of like someone who, unless it's going to make like a world of difference, I usually don't do the like extra stuff. 'Cause I do, as much as I like cooking, I do like things to be easy. In the kitchen, I get a little lazy sometimes. So
Yeah. I find
Preheating
it's most effective for potatoes. So like if I chop and soak potatoes to get
Oh,
some starches out, soak them for like an hour and then rinse them. And then I preheat that baking tray and I throw it on there. They get so
Like,
much more crispy.
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the next thing, actually the last thing that we're cooking is the grain for tonight. Because harvest bowls, like literally it's a bowl filled with vegetables, and then we're just adding some grains to add like some warmth and some texture and some like meatiness, if you will, to this like really light grain bowl. And so it makes it a nice like cold weather dish. So just get out a pot, any size pot. And I am using, you can use any grain you want. Barley and farro are my favorite grains. And depending on how many people you're cooking for, you could just use a cup, which would be totally fine. I have this like package, this like little package. I'm just gonna put the whole thing in. But basically the ratio is about 1 cup of dry grain to 2 cups liquid. If anything, a little bit more liquid. So like 2.5 cups of liquid to 1 cup of dry grain. Okay, so I'm just dumping the dry grain right into the pot.
So you don't boil water?
You put the grain and the liquid in at the exact same time. Yeah, and so for liquid, you can just use water, if you don't want to be fancy, but like I want to be fancy. So I'm using chicken broth, because it adds flavor, you know? And if you do just have water, that's totally fine, but just add salt to the pot. And let's see if I can turn on this stove. Oh, yes, I think I can. Okay, so like I said, like 1 cup of grain to about 2 or more cups of liquid. And you'll notice I'm not measuring, and that's because I don't like to measure, but you can totally measure. Okay. And so I turned my heat on high with just liquid and grain. Heat on high. And we want to wait for that to come to a boil, and then we'll cover it with a lid on and off over a simmer until the liquid has been absorbed. Not too complicated. Lisa, are you making a grain tonight?
So again, with the cheating, I didn't have time to get a grain, so I'm using rice cauliflower.
Okay, would anyone call that cheating, or would we call that like excelling at life? I don't know.
This is
I call that
completely
an
made with
even
things I had in
healthier
my
option.
pantry already.
I call that delicious.
I love that. I love that.
Hannah, do you typically not set timers and go by your smell? I mean, I think that's fascinating. I know Mickey's saying yes.
Yeah, so Lori, the thing is, when you're roasting vegetables, it's really not an exact science by any means. Every time you cut the vegetable, it's going to be a little different shape. Every oven is a little bit different. And everyone's preference is a little different. So like some people like their vegetables more al dente, which means not as cooked. And some people like them like crispy, to the point where they get like almost like caramelized and a little charred. And so it's a range. And so for me, I like mine on the more done side, like so that they're nice and tender and they get a little char. And my nose would tell me if it's done before it gets to there. So that's
Okay.
one thing. The other thing is like if it cooks for 30 minutes versus 45 minutes, the difference isn't going to be that like life or death by any means. But like if I'm baking cookies, Lori, I actually do set a timer because 15 minutes of
Right.
overbaking cookies is black.
Yeah.
And so that I care about. So I'll set a timer, right? But for the vegetables, 15 minutes of it's like doesn't really. So like it's more relaxed. It's less exact. What do you agree, Mickey, with that? What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. And sometimes, you know, you're just sort of like, you're doing something else, your mind's going, and she's right. Your nose will always tell you what's going on in the oven.
Yeah.
I'll use a fork too to check. Like I know when I get the
Yeah.
little mini squashes and I cut them in half, the green ones, and cut them in half and roast them. I only need like 5 to 8 minutes depending on their size. Whereas like a sweet potato that I'm chopping up and roasting could be like anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes. So I kind of set the timer for that first time where I should start checking it. And then I'll use a fork to see if it's like where I want it.
Yes.
Enough. And then I'll check, is it crispy enough? Is it right in the right spot? Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
We
Well,
did
and
the
like-
zucchini. Yeah, we did the zucchini this week, and that was definitely something that I had to keep my eye closer on.
Yeah, a little more delicate for sure. And squash, yeah, squash is so it's a meaty vegetable, so it needs some love in the oven.
Yeah.
Like
If you
that-
keep it in too long, it just turns into mush, right? It loses that
You
crispiness.
guys see that?
It's going. Your nose told you.
Trouble.
Oh my God.
And I'm just, what are we making?
So that's what happens when your pot boils over. Cool. And so I'm gonna turn my heat down right now. My intuition is telling me to turn the heat down. This is how to be an intuitive chef.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. You can't make this shit up, right?
No, you sure can't. Yeah, I'm just giving a little stir. It's all
All is
good.
well.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. And so again, like your food will tell you when it's done, you know? It's so easy. Cooking is so easy. But yeah, so I turned it to, once your grain comes to a boil, you turn it to a simmer. Okay. And then you just let it simmer away. I'm gonna try to put the lid back on. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I want the lid to be on for a little bit so that the grain can steam. And so yeah, so that it can steam. But I'm just gonna keep an eye on it.
Shannon, I'm with you. I did quinoa. Mhm.
Yeah, quinoa's so quick to cook. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
it cooks really fast. I like farro too. I like amaranth. Amaranth is like something people don't use that often, but it's also a quick cooking grain and it's really healthy and really good for you.
Yeah, I don't use that often at all. Actually. Okay. Lisa, tell me, are you making pesto tonight?
So I'm allergic to nuts, so
Oh,
I'm
that's
making
right.
pesto without the nuts.
Okay, perfect. So basically, just to recap, in case anyone lost us, we have our veggies in the oven. I haven't smelt anything yet, so I haven't checked it yet. We have our grain with a very careful eye that I have on it right now, simmering over the stove. And those are the things that we're cooking. And then if you know me, you know that like, if I'm having a big plate of veggies for dinner, I need a phenomenal sauce. And the reason being is because my body loves vegetables. I mean, most bodies do. We're like designed for plant-based, like food that comes from the earth like that. But I'm a foodie. So if I'm going to eat like a plate that's super healthy and nourishing, like I want it to hit all the notes emotionally. So that tonight is going to be lemon basil pesto. That's going to be our emotional blanket that's going to cover all the veggies and like make it all nice and yummy, and some cheese and avocado and all that stuff. So if you're hand making your pesto, get out your blender or food processor. And the ingredients are going to be fresh basil. That's pretty like quintessential in pesto. You could also use parsley. Nuts, which isn't as quintessential as Lisa is going to demonstrate. She's not using nuts tonight. And then garlic and olive oil, salt, pepper. And then tonight, as a little added freshness, vibrant spin, we're going to add some lemon juice to the pesto. I am traveling off set tonight. This isn't my usual kitchen, and there is no sufficient blender here. So I have the magic of TV, and I already made the pesto. So I'll show you guys what. Let me get a napkin. But basically, pesto, it's so easy to make, and you can taste the difference of the freshness when you make it yourself. And also, I love store-bought pesto too, like on weeknights when I don't feel, or like after a summit when like I don't feel like cooking. Store-bought is like totally fine. And if you get like a brand that you like such a great shortcut to use for weeknight cooking. And if you wanted to jazz it up, you could add like a squeeze of lemon juice to it, something like that. But once you start making your own, like you realize it's so easy. Literally just blend all of this up in a blender and it's this vibrant green sauce. It smells really good. Vicky, are you making yours fresh tonight?
I already made it.
Oh my God,
Ready to
yay.
go. It's ready to go.
Did you put an ice cube in it?
I did not.
It looks
I had a lot of lemon juice.
yeah, it looks really liquidy.
Yeah. And that's okay because it's a salad dressing for me.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, but
And
yeah.
that's the other thing, like with this pesto, I gave you guys the ingredients. I didn't give you any measurement. I gave you measurements in the recipe. Like I'm not like, that trying to sabotage you, but like when I'm making my pesto, as I teach the classes, it's like a handful of basil, a big handful, and like a small handful of nuts and 2 cloves of garlic. You could also add Parmesan cheese to this pesto, Lisa, if you wanted, instead of the nuts to make it creamy. And then olive oil, you just stream it until it's saucy, basically, and salt and pepper, and a little honey too, which I add sometimes just to balance out the bitterness from the olive oil and the acid from the lemon. You can use, so Barb just asked what kind of nuts. For a pesto, I like to use nuts that are softer, which are walnuts, cashews, pine nuts, and pistachios. Those are my 4 favorite. Pistachios are actually my favorite. Yeah, but I always have walnuts in my house, so I always use walnuts. But pistachios are kind of like a treat. Cashews you can use. I don't usually have them on hand though. Yeah. And it's all about, like, for instance, this meal tonight, it's all about like setting yourself up for success. So like, for instance, I always have walnuts on hand. So making a homemade pesto feels really easy because the only thing that I have to buy fresh literally is the basil. Garlic lasts forever. Lemons last until they have mold on them and you see them and then you throw them out. But like a couple weeks. And so like if you have always lemons and garlic and nuts, like it's really easy just to buy some basil and whip up a homemade pesto instead of like feeling like you have to buy all the ingredients all at once, because that feels overwhelming.
Well, and I have to say, I'm super surprised. I had most of the ingredients or things I could supplement, because I didn't think I was going to be here, so I didn't go shopping. But you just said Parmesan, and I have that in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
So that's super exciting.
That lasts forever in the fridge. And so like, and even like the cauliflower rice that Lisa has, like I keep frozen cauliflower rice in my freezer at all times for like a quick, easy, like weeknight dinner. Throw it with some pesto, some cheese, and like whatever else you have left over in your fridge, just dump it in. Okay. Is anyone else starting to smell their veggies? I am. Yeah.
I just flipped mine over.
Okay, so
Cooking
make
quick.
flip your veggies. I'm gonna oven mitt. I'm gonna recruit a sous chef to find an oven mitt for me.
That's awesome. Is his name Ryan?
Okay, I got an oven mitt. Yay. Yay for Wendy Lee.
I think that's awesome. You have like 3 sous chefs there at least.
What do we call it?
She has one sous chef and a peanut gallery.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, if they're drinking wine, I don't know if that counts.
One person that's actually helping, the other people are chiming in.
That's accurate.
Wait, offer Barb a drink. I brought this for her if she wants.
Oh,
Barb,
Okay, so my squash, I'll just show you guys. It's not done, but it looks like this. And so I'm just gonna turn it. It is getting tender. This is what we would call al dente. Like it's not crispy. If you were to take it out of the oven now, it would still have a bite to it. And I want it to be more tender. So I'm gonna put it back into the oven after this nice toss.
Should I be having a glass of wine right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
I'm behind. I'll be right back.
wasn't that automatically on the ingredients list?
Okay, and now I'm tossing my Brussels sprouts. And about the same, like, they if I want them al dente, like if anyone here likes their vegetables firm, this is when you would take them out. I do not like my vegetables roasted firm. I like them tender. I like them tender. So I'm putting these back in the oven.
I like that, Christy.
I'm using my Darla cup with a little drinky poo.
Little drinky poo, that's what we say in my house.
I got that from my father-in-law. Is it time for a drinky poo?
Christy, that makes me so happy that you say that, because I'm 29 and I'm the baby of my family, and like they still say drinky poo, like, Okay. And everyone give your grain a toss too.
Mhm.
I'll show you guys what mine's looking like. So some of like most of the liquid has been absorbed, not quite.
Mine is not like, mine has a lot of liquid, so I maybe over liquidified
Yeah,
it.
but did you see my stove, Christy? It's like on steroids. It's like and in fact, I'm actually gonna add a splash more liquid because the grain doesn't look completely done and the liquid's almost gone. So I just added a splash more liquid. And I'm gonna test my luck with the lid again. For my pesto people, did you taste it? Okay, Mickey, yeah, you did. Lisa.
Mhm.
Lisa's my pesto person. Does it need more salt, pepper, honey, garlic? Yeah.
I
Usually
can tell you the honey is a nice flavor.
it's really nice. It's not
Mhm.
honey is not traditional in pesto.
Mhm.
But I just think that it just rounds everything out. It's like adding salt to baked goods.
Right.
You know
Well,
what I
like you
mean?
said, it takes the bite out of the acid.
Exactly. And like sometimes people don't realize how actually bitter olive oil is. Like it's delicious, but it's bitter. And so the honey just balances it out without compromising the nice flavor that olive oil gives to the pesto. And
We've
the fun
used
thing
maple
about
syrup
making-
once too.
Yeah. And you can use maple syrup or agave if you're vegan. Which I'm not, but you can use that. And yeah. Lori, any questions? My co-host.
Not yet. No, I just love how you are just so like relaxed and in flow when you cook. If I ever decide to cook, I want to be like you.
Okay. You can be like me too.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Lori, yeah, no, that's I totally get that. And like it's nice for people who maybe aren't like you. Like I feel like you are pretty good with where you are, like in terms of your desire to kind of not be in the kitchen. But for some people who do want to be in the kitchen and it feels really scary, like it is nice sometimes to have someone that just like will kind of hold your hand through that process and make what you're doing okay. Like even if your pot boils over on the stove, like it's really not that big a deal. Like and so it's nice sometimes just to kind of be around that like carefree, like who the fuck cares energy and still make yummy food.
Right.
Because that is our priority. Like if this got burnt, I might shed a tear, but you know, it's not. So we're good.
I shared with Wendy today that I was actually in a very toxic situation. So I had this, which I didn't realize, I had this fear around cooking because someone was always overlooking what I was doing, to the point where when they would give me any sort of instruction, I would just put my hands up and walk away. And I've shared that with Hannah. And then they would have to finish cooking whatever was in the kitchen. So for a long time, I didn't cook. And so to get back into the kitchen and not feel so self-conscious of that, and then to just have Hannah be so free and so loving in what she does, it's been joy. It's like it brings me joy to bring back in the kitchen.
It's and Mickey, it's to reciprocate. It's so much fun cooking with you too. And Mickey, and this is the thing. Everyone, like no one's a good cook or a bad cook. Like it's just about practice. It's about getting your hands in the mix and like doing like that's all it is, you know. And Mickey, she's a phenomenal cook. Like she just like she's always 10 steps ahead of the group, but like quietly. So it like and she's usually cooking for like a big group and her son and his girlfriend and
yeah, so they would come over on Tuesday nights just so that they could reap the benefits, or come home on Tuesday nights, whatever it was. And so, and we always had that chicken to every recipe. So, which we will be doing tonight.
I don't cook a lot of meat just because I'd rather like make Brussels sprouts taste yummy than make chicken taste yummy, just because it's my body likes it more. So you can totally add meat to this meal if you want, but no meat here.
Okay, Hannah, tell us your worst cooking story or your funniest or something like what went wrong.
Okay, like there's so many that's coming to mind. It was like one of my first cooking classes ever, and it was with Davia. She was like the talk show host, and it was April 2021 or March 2021, and like it was a big event, and big, I mean, there's like 10 people there, but it was big, you know, for me at the time. And I'm like doing the cooking show, and my fire alarm goes off, like blasting, like blasting. And I was just like, I just like muted myself, and like everyone kept talking, but that was really funny. I also, this past Thanksgiving, my cousin's vegan, and we were making dinner for everyone the night before Thanksgiving on Wednesday, and we decided to like Mediterranean night and falafel. And like, I have a business around cooking, so like kind of high expectations around like what I cook. And my dad's family is like super pretentious and snobby around food. And the falafel that I made, like I started to pan fry it, and it just like melted into the pan, like completely disintegrated. So I was just like, well, no one's gonna have falafel tonight. So that was kind of funny. Yeah, good question, guys. Okay, Lisa, how is your pesto?
My pesto is good. It's all done. I sliced my avocado, but I couldn't remember anything else I had to slice. Oh, cheese.
Oh yeah,
I
and you
have
don't even
cheese.
have to slice the cheese. And so let's see, what time is it? Yeah, we're almost done, and the vegetables are smelling good. I would say mine have about like 5 more minutes, based on how they're smelling. And to layer this, like you can do so many things. Tonight, I thought it would be fun to do like arugula, and then the grain, and then the veggies, and the sauce, and the cheese, and the avocado. But like, if you don't have lettuce, that's fine. If you don't have the grain, that's fine. If you're only have a toaster oven, that's fine. Like it's really like build your own bowl of like whatever you have. If there's something in your fridge that you're wanting to move, like that's been in there for maybe 6 to 7 days, like put that in here. And it's like a nice vessel for anything that you're trying to move. Okay. So my grain, I'm just waiting for the liquid to absorb. So I'm going to take off the lid just to get that to evaporate and turn up the heat a little bit.
Hannah, I remember your fire alarm. That was hilarious.
Me too.
You handled it so smoothly. Like it is totally normal for this really loud alarm to be going off in the middle of my presentation.
It was those damn tomatoes. Yeah, we were making that's another really simple dish that we made that night, with the spaghetti squash with like roasted tomatoes and artichokes and pesto and cheese. Pretty common flavor profiles when you're cooking with me, so get used to it. Okay.
I remember an epic fail when I've always liked to cook. So when I was a kid, I would experiment with stuff, and I love recipes. I do more improvisational cooking now, but as a kid, I followed the recipes, or I thought I did. And I made like morning biscuits that had bacon in them. And instead of 1/4 of a cup, I put 4 cups. It was like, I've never had salt tack on like a ship that crossing the ocean in the 1700s, but I imagine that's what it was like. It was like this solid, salty thing. And I'm like, what went wrong? And then I finally figured it out.
Oh my God, Lisa, I love that story. And like, that's representing me to like, one of the reasons I love cooking so much is because it's taught me how to take things lightly, to be honest, because like I've had seasons in my life where like everything felt so heavy, and like I felt like I had to control everything. And like, if something went amiss, like I would freak out. And cooking, it's like you realize that like if you add 4 cups of like whatever to your thing, I think it's really not the end of the world. And like if you turn left instead of right and like you're
Mhm.
going the wrong way, like it's really not the end of the world. And so for me, like being in the kitchen and the way that you approach your food, for me has been a lesson to like kind of approach life lighter, because it's more serious. You might
definitely-
take that more serious than it really is. So
I think that translates, cooking lessons make it really more, I can't read that.
it says grow smarter.
Yeah, Mickey's got her
That's
t-shirt
awesome.
on.
We see you, Mickey.
The oven's making it hot in here. I gotta go get short sleeves on.
Are your veggies done, Mickey? Or do they need more time?
Almost done. My Brussels sprouts, I just flipped them because they were a little behind. And then I'll check my squash in a few minutes. And my sous chef is gonna go out and grill some chicken.
I love that. Yeah. Also, like another tip, get yourself a sous chef. It helps. I don't have one. No, but it would help. Just kidding.
I also found the dill dressing that we made the week before last in the refrigerator when you were just saying like stuff in the refrigerator. I'm like, oh yeah, I have that dill dressing. So I'm like, that might be good on this too.
That would be really good on this, like a dollop on
Yeah.
top. Yeah. We made like a yogurt dill sauce
Mhm.
the other night. Mickey is she's in my Cookwell Mastermind program, just for anyone who doesn't know that. So that's what she's referring to when she's talking about the classes. Okay.
And Hannah, what offerings do you have coming up?
So the one offering that I have coming up is my main program, which is Cookwell Mastermind, and that begins in January. And that is 4 months of healing cooking classes like this, combined with coaching classes, to really get to like the root of any kind of food stories or body or nutrition like stories, because we all have them growing up in the society that we do. And so really getting to like the root of that and what's behind that. And then part of that program is a culinary and wellness retreat in Southern Italy. And so that begins in January.
And you have something on November 6th, right?
Yeah, that's a free class like this. Yeah, little workshop. What was that, Wendy?
Tell me more about the Italy trip.
What do you want to know?
You piqued my interest, like.
Yes, you're going, Wendy.
happens on the Italy-
Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear Wendy or not, but she's asking what happens on the Italy retreat.
Mhm.
Nikki, actually, do you want to answer that one? Nikki went last year and is coming
Yes,
next.
I do.
I have to go, so I want to say bye because I have to
Bye,
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 Christy.
Thanks for coming. It was
Thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much. I have dinner for tomorrow.
Yes.
See you later. Bye.
See you later.
So what happens on the Italy retreat? Wendy, are you there?
I am listening.
Okay, girl. So lots of things. There is a lot of sharing and openness and some vulnerability. And last year we had a shamanic healer come, and Hannah led an amazing group to help us sort of be present and in the moment and in the actual retreat itself, to be there for ourselves for healing. But then came all the food. And so there were cooking demonstrations. There were times where we were stepping into the kitchen and making pasta and doing our own dishes. And then there was a cooking challenge, or should I say competition. And if there's one thing you know about me, I'm competitive.
She
And
won.
Meredith Bache and I won. But just saying. And a lot of wine, and a lot of seeing the local countryside, and a lot of walking up and down the hill and just enjoying each other's company and getting to know each other in an amazing way, seeing the town and doing some pastry stuff and just enjoying Italy.
Amazing, thank you.
Yeah, you're coming, Wendy.
Didn't I see y'all on a beach too?
Yeah, that was where we did our
Well,
healing.
You know, Lisa, if you're going to do a shamanic sound healing session, you might as well do it on the beach.
Mhm.
It's kind of what we thought.
Clearly.
Yeah, it was
We were
beautiful.
on the beach. You had to walk down the hill from where we were staying at the Italian Culinary Institute, and you were literally right in this little neighborhood that was on the beach. You
Yeah,
didn't have to go very far.
yeah, yeah. So it was good. It was good. And if anyone is interested, like feel free to send me a message on anything. On anything. I feel
And anything.
and with your grain, I just turned my heat off. And I'm gonna season it with some salt and pepper. Is that okay? Is that okay? Okay. Shrimp broth. And then what I actually like to do to my grain, optional, but I like to add a spoonful of the yummy pesto just because we have it. You might as well layer all the flavor all the layers of your dish. So I just added a spoonful and I'm just mixing that in. And so it'll be kind of lightly flavored with that pesto. And you'll start to smell it. It smells yummy. Okay. Now I'm gonna check on my veggies actually no, first I'm gonna start to layer my plate.
My Brussels sprouts are perfectly roasted.
Yay!
Wow.
Mm.
So to layer the plate, I get a plate like this. And then I like to do a bed of the lettuce. Just a little bit. And then I like to do a scoop of the grain right on top of that. And then the veggies, which I'm gonna go grab from the oven now. Already. Intuitive chef here.
Y'all are making me hungry. I'm gonna have to go eat some dinner soon.
I know, Shannon, we wish you were here.
I wish I was there too. I wish it wasn't so far. I'm coming by tomorrow though.
Yay.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good. I'm eating leftovers.
Okay, so I just took the Brussels and the squash out of the oven. So just kind of like layer them up into your little harvest bowl situation. And then like this could be totally fine just as is, but we're gonna make it more yummy with some avocado cheese and the sauce. Oh, no, I thought you said, does anyone not want cheese? Oh, no, I thought you were giving me No.
I was like, what's avocado cheese?
So I'm doing you can do a little goat cheese or feta or Parmesan, whatever you have. And I'm just slicing my avocado lengthwise.
You don't think about my avocado. Ooh, okay.
You don't want avocado?
Oh, you don't have to give me.
Do you not?
Yeah.
Okay. And then adding the avocado. And then just a nice drizzle of the sauce right on top.
It really looks good, Hannah.
Doesn't that look like nourishing and yummy?
Yeah.
It looks
does.
delicious.
Yeah. And like, what time is it? This took us like 45 minutes and like,
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Are you guys impressed?
I'm hungry.
Can y'all see?
I'm
Yes.
impressed. I'm impressed and hungry. It's beautiful, Lisa.
Yes, Shannon, you'll have to cook it tomorrow night.
Yes.
Okay.
Yay.
Rover approves too.
I love it. I love it. Does anyone have any questions? I don't want to keep you guys too much longer, like to you know, before your dinners. Judy, are you present?
Am. Hi.
Hi. Yay. Any questions for you? Anything?
No, I'm excited. Looks delicious.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank you for having this. It's great.
Yeah, thanks for coming. Awesome. Well,
Thank you so much.
it was an absolute pleasure to cook with you guys tonight. Thank you so much for coming and for sharing the kitchen space. It was my absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Hannah.
Thanks, Hannah.
That's awesome.
Thank you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Everybody.
Yes, if you
Bye.
if you post the recipe to me, I'll post it on the event portal.
Okay, cool. I sent you an email.
Okay. I don't think I got it.
Okay, I'll resend it.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.